Yes, and that one's directly on that. Yes, I'll go back and
Hello everyone, and welcome to our second community meeting. To benefit those who are not present, this meeting is being recorded and it shall be sent to the community in the next few days. I don't know if we have new parents in the room, but just to reintroduce ourselves as a board. Here's your HIS board for this year. Sarah, maybe you can stand up and they can see you, or you can come here so that you are covered by the camera and those at home.
I'm Sarah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, Sarah, if you can come here because the camera is it covering that side? Is it? Okay, okay, that's fine.
It's from here up to that piano, so as long as you're in between here, you're good.
Okay, great. Yeah. So
Come up here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Go in front.
How far wide?
This way, please cover. There.
Great.
Yeah, all the way to my umbrella, you're good.
Yeah, so here is your HIS board. So because we are all here in front, maybe we can just introduce ourselves.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Tatenda Mtizwa. I am the treasurer on the board, and I am a parent of 2 children.
So mine is Agnes Kudidishika, and I'm the chair of the board. I've got 3 children currently enrolled at HIS.
I'm Sarah Little. This is my first year on the board, and I sit on the governance committee, and I have 2 children here also.
Hi, everybody in the room. My name is Joris van Edeveen, and I have 3 boys here at HIS.
Hi, my name is Amadou. First year on the board, and I have 2 kids at the school.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Heater. I chair the governance committee on
school, and I'm the vice chair of the board.
Okay, so you have put faces to, I know some of you have gone to our website and you have gone through the roles that we play, that we have as a board, and here is your board. Thank you very much. So maybe, John, you can remain.
All right.
Yeah. So would like to briefly, talk to you a little bit about the role of Harare International School Board.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
So generally the board of any school is in charge of setting policy for the school, responsible for the overall well-being and the best interest of the school, and supervising the only employee we have, which is the director, Arden, and so that's what we do. We meet monthly. We have 2 committees, finance and governance. We look at the budget. We look at new policies, issues that come up around that. And it's a fairly active board. It's a small board, 7 people. Everybody has to be on a committee or have some kind of job. We meet monthly, and then every month we have either a finance committee or governance committee meeting. We help plan the general meeting, the election of the other board members in the future. The board is made of 7, 2 are appointed seats from the U.S. Embassy, and 5 are elected seats. And that's our board.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, John. In case you are new to this room, welcome. And I think if you leave by that door, you will find if you go to the right and then left, you will find our bathrooms on that center. Please feel free to get some eats and tea, coffee. At this moment, I think I will call upon Aden and to introduce the team and to go on with meeting. Thank you very much, parents, for coming.
Great, thank you very much, Agnes, and to our wonderful board who gives very generously of their time. All of our board members are volunteers, and so we really appreciate all of the time and commitment that they give to help in setting the strategic direction of the school. So that's really important. I think we're going to start off with, we had to have this photo because we're finally having some events on campus, and we had our wonderful maths inquiry morning, and so there are a lot of photos, and I just tried to thank you, Jessica, for sending me a few photos. So this is one from last Friday, and as you will have read in the bulletin, there are more of these mornings to come. So we'll look forward to that. Here is, do you want me to go through the agenda? So I think everyone has probably seen the agenda from the bulletin that was sent out from the board. We've slightly reordered the sequence of events, and that is partially to do with our nurse Rejoice, who has had a few late evenings, as you will know from the emails that have been sent out in the last couple of days. But I would like to introduce you to Rejoice, who joined us only in January. But it feels like she's been a part of our community for already a very long time, and she's really wonderful. So please welcome Rejoice. You want to just say a few words about yourself, and then a couple of the good news about today.
Okay, I'll try to summarize because it's quite a lot. Good evening to you all. Pleased to meet you all, and it is actually an honor for me to be here. Thank you all. To summarize, I'm a general nurse who trained at Kwekwe General Hospital, 1997 to 2000. And so my work experience stretches from 2000 to now. So briefly, I can talk about my work experience in schools. I'd worked in government institutions as well as private institutions from the year 2000 to 2016. This is when I joined Goldridge College in Kwekwe, where I was working as a health and hostel supervisor for 2 years. Then I moved to Peterhouse Group of Schools, where I worked for 3 years, and now I'm here. And here, as I've said before, it's an honor to work with such wonderful people, supportive people. And now I almost know every member of staff because of the interactive programs that are in place. That is quite amazing, and thank you for that. It has made my job so much easy because I can approach anyone, and surely I get all the support that I need. I'm also taking it as a moment for me to learn about cultural diversity. There's a lot that I don't know, but I'm beginning to appreciate that, oh, maybe I've been living in a vacuum, but now I'm seeing that there's a lot to explore. I'm learning a lot from every individual, so yes. And also I'm taking it as a professional opportunity for me to learn. Programs in pipeline and health units, vaccination for members of staff. I appreciate that everyone has been supportive and they've all been tested and all has been good. Vaccination for 12 years plus. After the government's announcement that the 12 years group are now eligible for vaccination, we sent out a Google form for parents to fill in. Some have already responded. So far we have 17 positive responses, and we've made arrangements with our local clinic for them to come here and do the vaccination procedures here for Sinopharm and Sinovac, first and second doses. So this will probably take place on the 1st of April, which will be a Friday, say from around 12 to end of day. I'm sure this will allow our students to recover if ever they experience side effects after the vaccination. A few parents have also responded to say they prefer Pfizer. Some have already been vaccinated, so still that is a good sign. All we want is for them to be vaccinated. Like I've said, the proposed date is 1 April. Then explosive trips, our first aid bags are ready, which include regular medication for students who are on daily treatment, EpiPen in each bag, and COVID test kits just in case someone presents with symptoms. We've agreed that they need to be tested. Then do that. And COVID vaccination COVID testing. I've said vaccination instead of testing pre-travel. This procedure has started today for all explosive students traveling for explosive trips, as well as the members of staff, of which today 159 students were tested and 30 members of staff, total 189. We are glad that all results were negative, and we hope that they remain negative. So we are going to do repeat tests on everyone on the day that they are traveling. Like I've said, same procedure on traveling days. That's on Sunday 20th, Monday 21st, and Tuesday 22nd. Then we are also doing follow-up on students who have flu symptoms. So this is after the parent. If the parent has reported that this is what is happening to so and so, we also follow up with emails to find out how they are doing. Have they been seen by the doctor? Are they improving? Have they been tested? This will also guide us on the way forward. Once one tests positive, we are saying if the parent informs us, then we do close contact tracing. There's a Google form that we ask them to fill in for us, assisting the child with information. And this actually has been guiding us on what is going on. And what's left? Building relationships, okay, with our embassies. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm meeting Dr. Brighton next week. We have a lot to discuss about, although for now we have met via email. We've been in touch, and he's been amazing so far. He's been very supportive. And we plan on doing first aid sessions for our members of staff so that they have valid certificates. That is after my training of trainers course. I'm supposed to go to Mars for that training so that I'm fully equipped to then train them, and then they can be certified. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rejoice. And I know that Rejoice is extremely approachable, and so if you ever do have any questions, please reach out to her, and she will be of great help to guide you, and if you have any health questions at all. So next, because it's probably much more interesting to listen to students speak rather than adults speak, we would like to invite two students to come up and talk to us a little bit about our coffee tender. Chennai and Cass.
Hi everyone, my name is Cass Ryder.
Hello, my name is Chennai Sabetabuadi, and we're both 11th grade students.
So we're here on behalf of the National Honor Society, aka the NHS, of which I'm the secretary.
And I'm the president.
In this presentation, we're just going to be discussing the entire coffee tender project that has been taking place over the last several months.
The project was originally inspired by members in the NHS.
All of the members, including us, were really missing the ambience and sense of community and, of course, the lovely coffee that came with Kenny's Coffee Hub before COVID restrictions were established.
So we, the NHS, were always on the edge of our seats, waiting for the world to be safe again, to propose the reinstatement of the coffee tender on campus.
When the HIS administration became confident enough in the safety of this project, we began working and planning right away.
Our main goals were to, in the end, install a safe and comforting coffee tender in the hub that would benefit the HIS community in the same extremely positive ways and more that it did with Kenny's original coffee stand.
We and the entire NHS are very proud of this project, and we are confident it will come to a satisfying conclusion.
Firstly, after having made the collective decision to designate Cass and I to work on this coffee tender project, we organized a meeting with Mrs. Teoshin.
We discussed the important safety considerations in installing a coffee tender with the unpredictable status of the COVID-19 pandemic, and then we drew up an outline of what undertaking this coffee tender project would entail.
Ms. Teoshin expressed her excitement about our plans and evaluating a range of tenders that we hadn't initially considered or knew was a possibility.
From here, we started investigating a few coffee tender options and drew up a Google form to send out to the community.
The form included several questions about individual coffee tenders, preferences, ideal pricing, products offered, and what was important to them regarding the service.
We were so pleased with the enthusiasm the HIS community showed in our form. This was an encouraging sign to keep going strong with this project.
The form also asked for coffee tender recommendations if anyone had any ideas, which was helpful to get us to start investigating tenders for the later interview.
Speaking of interviews, that was our next step. We created coffee tender criteria with Mrs. Teoshin, which we applied to the coffee tender options we were now considering.
And here we are, with 3 coffee tenders to consider and a dedicated group for evaluation from the HIS community to evaluate these contestants with us.
We've received proposals from all of our potential coffee tenders and are now organizing and collecting everyone's evaluations and opinions of them.
We're soon finished with this whole project, of which we couldn't be more proud of.
One of the major learning points of this process thus far has been establishing and signing a confidentiality agreement in order to evaluate the coffee tenders' proposals.
Ms. Teoshin directed us in this and helped us understand the importance of a signed agreement like this, in order to protect the integrity and, as the name suggests, confidentiality of the coffee tender businesses.
All members of the evaluation team signed this document, which allowed us to move on to the next step of the project with confidence.
Cass and I knew that we wouldn't have to tackle the process of finding actual potential coffee tender options. We weren't sure how to go about this at first.
We already knew that we wanted to make sure Kenny's Coffee was made aware of HIS's reopening of the Coffee Hub, since when we proposed the project, our inspiration was focused on the success and adoration of Kenny's original Coffee Hub.
When initially proposing this project within the NHS Club and mentioning the idea to a few of our friends, we were also met with substantial enthusiasm for bringing Kenny's back.
Needless to say, it was important to us in our community that our old reliable Kenny's Coffee was contacted for interest.
Cass and I were able to contact the small businesses and find out they were in fact still running. They were likely to be interested in returning to the HIS campus too, which was great news.
After this, we were open to other tending options. After more collaboration with Mrs. Hioshin, we decided to post our search for coffee tender candidates in the Friday Bulletin.
And to generally open up the search to our community.
Ultimately, we ended up with 3 candidates: Kenny's Coffee, the Coffee Station, and Scotch Guard.
As our next step, and another major area of this project, was the entire evaluation process. As previously mentioned, we started by creating our own criteria.
Shania and I outlined the areas we thought were most important when considering a potential coffee tender. We also decided to consult the rest of the NHS exec team, Nate and Abby, for this, so we used all of our perspectives to decide on a collective set of evaluation categories. These included the company's overall focus and goals, the products being offered, cost and price considerations, community integration, environmental considerations, and safety considerations.
Our initial categories were further refined into the 5 criteria: the objective and recipients, the scope of service in terms of the environment, the scope of service in terms of products and pricing, the scope of service in terms of the community, and the duty of care in terms of safeguarding.
Seeing our ideas displayed in a final criteria and evaluation document was very fulfilling. Now we just had to evaluate our 3 tender options with this criteria.
We appreciate all of the feedback we have received on this project and all of the collaboration that we have been able to carry out with the HS community.
Moving forward with the final stages of this project, we reflect on all of our learnings and are very grateful for the opportunity to be actively involved in the restoration of our on-campus coffee tender.
We are confident in a positive outcome to the project that will result in a coffee tender that the whole HIS community can enjoy.
Thank you for listening.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And actually, it's nice to hear students speak and not necessarily have slides, just to be able to speak about this. I think academics and all the subjects that the students attend on a regular basis, they're really important. There's no doubt about that. These opportunities are also very important, and for those students to be able to go through an entire tender process from start to end, and we're doing the presentations with the 3 different companies tomorrow, is a really valuable experience that many people, I think, among adults don't necessarily have. And so for them to be able to take this experience and then apply it in other situations is very valuable. And they've been amazing. And they are so busy. Grade 11 students do not have a lot of free time. And so the fact that they've been able to be involved and to take the initiative in a lot of this and just be guided along the way is something that we can be really proud of. So well done, girls. Thank you very much. Which leads me to this. I came across this. I was listening to something, and I don't know if I quite got it. It was a podcast, and I was thinking about this presentation by these students about the ability to see something that might be in the future and take action together with others to solve the challenge and make it happen. And that, I thought, just really embodied what these students have undertaken in this process. I don't know that, when I'm thinking about when I was in school, there was no way I would have been involved in something like this. And then it also leads into our next presentation, and I would like to invite four very special community members, and I think I'll let them introduce themselves. I don't need to introduce them, to talk about our OT-PT design initiative.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica. I'm part of the PT-OT group that's going through a pretty cool process. And I'm Mandisa.
My name is Luke Bryan. I'm a junior here at HIS.
I'm Tony Mancibo. I have a son here at HIS.
All right, so the question, who is involved? And I think we're a representation of the people who are involved. We have students, parents, faculty, and admin staff. Our goal here is we're going to be a design team to come together to brainstorm on how can we design this occupational physical therapy space. We are composed of 2 groups, the core team, and we'll see this process from the inception to the end. And then we also have our interceptors team, who are our critical friends, who will give us feedback, check in on us, and give us different perspective on how we can go through this process.
Hi, Chip. So what is our goal? Well, I won't read this, but we had to come up with a plan, and we had to become designers. And how do we tackle this project? Well, the team came up and has adopted a five-step design process that was created and taught at Stanford by designers, for designers. In this five-step design methodology, it provides a solution-based approach to solving problems. It's extremely useful in tackling complex problems that are not well-defined or just unknown. And we get to understand the human needs involved in this project and reformat the problem in an everyday human way. We do this by creating many ideas and brainstorming together. We collaborate and pick the brains of experts, as well as things around us that may stimulate the child. We just completed stage one, the empathize phase. Empathize stage is really understanding the human needs. We consulted experts in Lusaka and Addis in Hong Kong. I reached out to some private experts in South Africa just recently. And they all have very successful sensory facilities. As a matter of fact, what happily surprised me was the school in Hong Kong that used sensory as part of their daily curriculum. It was mandatory. And then kind of out of the box places like Jump Trampoline Park here in Harare, which is just an amazing facility, kind of built for 300 as opposed to just a couple of kids. But there are so many methods to that sensory stimulation that happens there that are used in OT and PT practices. So we're actually completed phase one, and we're now on the define phase. So we're now just gathering all of this data and information. And this is where the kind of the tough stuff, where we need to really analyze and then simplify and come up with a human mission statement for this project. So we have some challenges coming up with the next couple of days, but we're really, really motivated to get this done. The third is the fun one. This is where we bring in, actually, we can probably bring in outside people, bring in architects, bring in designers and engineers, really kind of think out of the box on what this facility, this process should be about. And fourth and fifth, the prototype and the testing phase, where we kind of all put lab coats on and we observe and see what works and see what fails. But that's also exciting to really kind of come up with a sustainable facility that can change over time as the school needs it in different in different climates.
So what have we done so far? What are the steps we've taken? The first thing we did was meet together and then take a field trip over to the space that we're going to be renovating and using for our OTPT facility. We, like Tony said, had the opportunity in small groups to contact different schools, international schools, who have a similar or like type of space on their campus and find out what works for them, what they really enjoy about their space, what would they do differently if they could look back and make some changes, what advice did they have for us, and that was really insightful for me to be a part of that. We have had empathy and immersion experiences by meeting with an occupational therapist, so she joined us a few weeks ago to really talk about the resources that she uses, how those resources support students who need her expertise, and made some suggestions as well for our space and what she thinks would be really beneficial. Then she gave us cool things to play with and touch and feel, so we could really immerse ourselves in what it would be like to be a recipient of occupational or physical therapy. We also had the opportunity to hear from 2 parents here from HIS whose children do receive currently OT or PT, and find out kind of their backstory and learn more about how essential it is to have these services for their children here on campus, and to get a feeling and a sense of their excitement for having an actual space designed to provide therapy for their children. So that was really great. And the last thing we did was think about how might we. So really spend some time thinking about how might we develop this space for our students, and had some really great conversations within our groups about how we might develop the space for our students. And what we've done in the last week is then begin meeting with our interceptors to find out a little bit more about how might we, and see what things are we potentially missing, who else should we contact on this process. And I was able to meet with a grade 5 student today who was super articulate, very excited, very reflective and thoughtful in our conversation about who else we would contact, what other things we might consider when thinking about this space.
So I want to talk a little bit about what our next steps are going to be for this project. So essentially we're going to have 6 steps between now and the end of April on really what we're planning to achieve and what we're planning to accomplish with this OTPT room. So we're going to first discuss the how might we questions with our core team and our interceptors team. So our interceptors team is going to meet with us on different dates and really discuss, essentially their job is to discuss what we can do to make our jobs better, or what we can do to refine our thought process. So if we have gone off on a train and lost our goal, what they're going to do is harbor us back in essentially and really get us down to what we need to do. So that's the first one. And then we're going to be just planning and prototyping through March and testing it on our students by April 7th, around April 7th. So we don't have, obviously these are goal dates. And so the point of that is, as we said in the 3-step or in the 5-step process, we're going through those last 3 by the end of April. And so it's important because we've gone since the beginning of February around. We started this process in the middle of February, just about. And we've taken it really slow in these first couple steps because these are the most important steps that we need to take, right? And the point is, we need to get good ideas and a good goal and what we need to do. We need to get that out there before we can really use what we know to help the children, right? And so then we will be testing on students and reflecting and really just refining the entire process, right? So, because the ultimate goal is to have it for things that kids can go to, but really feel, we have to discuss what they want to feel, right, and what they're trying to achieve. And so through this entire process, we're really hovering in on what the kids want and what the kids can do best in and what the kids can thrive best in. And so I think we're really excited because through this process, we're really growing ourselves and our mission statement as a learning community, and we're going to have more access to a wider learning community with this room being built.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So just before we go on, has been phenomenal. Every single time, every single person comes. It's not like, oh, well, I don't think I can come this time. It's just everyone is there and everyone is so engaged in the discussions. It's quite a different approach because often when you build something, you want to build something, you might start with, oh, I think we need to build this space. And then you call up an architect and they go, oh yeah, we think we've done this somewhere else. Or we've got some good ideas, and they kind of pull something out of their back pocket and they say, here, this is what we think that you should do. And the challenge with that, it's fast. It's very fast. The challenge is that it doesn't necessarily meet what we want. And that's what we've been finding when we're reaching out to these other schools, is that they're able to say, if we had done it over again, this is what we would have done differently, or this is what we've noticed. So it's quite a different process, and it's quite an exciting one because, again, we've got parents and students and faculty and staff who are involved in devising this space. So design process will be finished by the end of April, and then we'll start with the invitation for proposals by architects in May, and then we'll proceed from there, and hopefully sometime in the first part of next year we will we will have an opening for our OTPP center. It won't be called that. It will be called something really cool. We haven't decided yet what. Mike, yes. Is that better for everybody? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Is that better with the rain? Yes. Okay. So thank you very much, actually, to the whole core team and to our interceptors, and particularly to these four team members for being able to present today. So the next part is where you get to talk, to listen to me. I'm sorry, I'm not a student, but I would like to just share a few things with you because these questions have come up, we've noticed over the last, I guess, the last few months. And so we thought it would be a good idea just to share this information with parents about recruitment frequently asked questions. So I'll just go through them, and then I've got a couple of notes just in case I'll go through them. The funny thing about international schools is that teachers need to give up their job before they find a new job. And that's very rare. I mean, in the rest, you can't do it all. Okay, we're going to we have a sound expert. Is that, can you hear me okay now? No? You might come up. Come up. Maybe we'll try, and then maybe we'll be able to hear a little bit better. Yeah? Yeah? Do we want to have a 5-minute coffee break? Yeah, and then the rain will let up in 5 minutes, we're thinking. Does anybody have a crystal ball? Okay? Okay, well, why don't we take 5 minutes for coffee, snacks, and then we'll come back. Okay, everybody, I think that it's maybe quieted down a little bit. So if you want to come up a little bit to the front, and hopefully we'll be able to hear, even if it does have a little bit of a rainstorm again. How are you? Good, thanks. Good, good. Yeah, this is my first actual meeting I've been able to come to, so it's great. So if you can come a little bit closer to the front, and then you'll be able to hear a little bit better. And we'll get started again. So one of the things that, as I was saying before the rain started and we couldn't hear anything, is that international school education is a little bit strange because teachers have to give up their jobs before they have a job. And it's a bit disconcerting. And it's unusual in most